Welcome to The Right Stuff from Goldspot Pens, a podcast that guides you from pen noob to aficionado in less than 20 minutes. I'm your host, Tom Otto. In this episode, I'll tell you about 5 underrated pen brands that you need to know. Hang out until the end, and I'll give away something on my desk. So for this week's episode, I wanted to change things up a little bit and get right into what I feel is the meat of the podcast, which is answering your burning pen questions. This week's question comes from Notes from Past Amy, who writes, "With my Pilot Vanishing Point arriving today, I feel like I have experienced a good variety in the major pen brands, and I'm looking to branch out. Not that there's anything wrong with Pilot, Platinum, Sailor, Bennu, Leonardo, etc., but can you recommend some sleeper brands for me to keep an eye on? Bonus points for non-standard colors and or nibs." After all, the Pilot Metropolitan, Lamy Safari, Platinum Preppy, and Kaweco Sport are usually on the short list for the best starter fountain pens. After exploring the vast landscape of fountain pens, one quickly realizes there are many pen brands made all over the world. Besides the big players everyone talks about, which ones are worth the investment? I'll share 5 sleeper pen brands that are low-key amazing. Although these aren't in any particular order of importance, I did want to start with the Edison Pen Co. because one of their Herald models was my first really expensive fountain pen I purchased back in 2009. At the time, I too was looking for a great pen that didn't have a big brand name. While researching on Fountain Pen Network and various pen blogs, I saw that Brian Gray of the Edison Pen Company built a solid pen-making reputation. And they still do have one. Over 15 years later, Brian and Andrea grew the Edison Pen Company out of their garage and into a full-fledged workshop with a team cranking out pens with the same quality and care that makes them one of the best pen companies in the USA. There are several models that range from petite to oversized. Fun fact, all of the pen model names are inspired by places, names, and events in Thomas Edison's life. The Newark, for example, is Goldspot's exclusive model and named after the city where Edison had his first laboratory before his most famous one in Menlo Park. For this pen, we collaborated with Edison Pen Co. to combine all of our favorite design elements of Edison pens into one well-balanced, charming fountain pen. We named this latest limited edition pen Patent Pending Pink, as a tongue-in-cheek reference to Edison's numerous patents and the fashionable pink used in clothing, shoes, and accessories. The body of the pen swirls with layers of pink, orange, yellow-green, and white. The material is handmade by Jennifer Early of Stormwind's Pen Blanks. You'll find this pen on the Goldspot website starting Tuesday, July 30th, and is limited to only 100 numbered pens. But if you'd like something even more special, Edison has a custom line of pens that can be ordered directly on their website. These pens are more expensive than the production pens that we sell at Goldspot, but you get to pick the colors of your pen and any of the details like the clip, the engraving, and so on. So you could take something like this Edison Collier and you could have one acrylic be the barrel and the cap, and you could have a different color of acrylic be the grip section. You could have a different color clip that would totally be off of menu. They also have other models on their website that use built-in filling mechanisms other than the cartridge converter available in the production line. Between the production design pens on Goldspot and the custom options offered directly on Edison's website, you're guaranteed to find an amazing American-made fountain pen with Edison. Of all the big German name brands, Montblanc, Pelikan, Lamy, Kaweco, Faber-Castell, there's a brand that's been under the radar, making jewelry quality pens since 1918 in Germany's Pforzheim, a region with excellent reputation for jewelry and watchmaking. The sleeper brand I'm referring to is Waldmann. Where other German brands lean on a Spartan Bauhaus design philosophy, Waldmann amplifies the elegance of their designs with engraved and lacquered patterns. Instead of the random asymmetric patterns present in most acrylic resin pens, Waldmann's engraved metal designs have a strong sense of order and precision evident in every painstaking detail. Most Waldmann designs feature pure 925 sterling silver as their primary material, adding a weighty heft to these precious pens. Take the Tango Imagination, for example. It has an intricately engraved pattern that is then lacquered and shaved down to create a mesmerizing effect when light catches the shine of the sterling silver. For those who prefer pens of a grander size, there's the Grandeur with its lacquered guilloche pattern mimicking deep ocean waves. Although Waldmann's use of JoWo stainless steel nibs is nothing novel, after all, Edison pens we just spoke about use the same nib brand, it's my opinion that Waldmann puts a little something extra onto their number 5 and number 6 size nibs. It could be very well that the significantly higher weight of the pen might be the effect that's going on here, but my experience is that Waldmann just writes a bit smoother than your average JoWo. And if you've experienced writing with a Waldmann, I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. Risen from the ashes of the once bankrupt Omas Pen Company, several former employees founded SCRIBO in 2016. In less than a decade, SCRIBO's CEO Luca Baglione continues to grow this Italian brand despite tough competition from other well-known Italian pen makers like Visconti, Delta, Aurora, and ironically, Omas. From the very start, Luca focused on crafting an exceptional writing experience that Omas collectors cherished. So the company obtained the dies, tooling, and capabilities to create Omas nibs in both 14 karat gold and 18 karat gold varieties. So if you're looking for a unique writing experience that isn't like a JoWo that you see used on many different pen brands, SCRIBO has a nib lineup you need to explore. The 14 karat gold Feel the Flex nib has an elasticity that yields gentle line variation when you put pressure on the downstroke. Depending on how thin you want your unflexed line, you can opt for an extra fine, fine, medium, or broad flex nib. Then there's the 18 karat gold Feel the Writing nib. While not advertised as a flexible nib, the 18 karat gold nib has a soft, smooth feel on the page with a much wider array of nib sizes ranging from extra fine to triple broad and stub. Although SCRIBO only has 3 different model designs, the amount of styles and special editions grows in variety every year. All their releases are limited in nature, with only 219 usually made on most acrylic or ebonite finishes. Recently they introduced designs like this Ladota Aquarello that is completely hand-painted. SCRIBO pens are the most dearly priced of all the brands on this list, but they are certainly worth the investment and a spot at the top tier of your pen collection. The next underrated pen brand goes by a couple of names. Whether you call it a Narwhal or a Nahvalur, you're referring to a fun pen that has a lot to offer. Originally, when Frank and Sam debuted the Narwhal brand back at the 2019 DC Pen Super Show, they only sold the original model, which is an affordable piston-filling fountain pen with an acrylic body and cap. This original summer edition features sun-kissed orange metal trims and matching stainless steel nib for only $50. Then, for those who are looking for a grander pen design, the Nautilus or Voyage model has a larger profile made of premium materials like diamond cast or ebonite. Starting at $140 for a piston-filling pen made of ebonite, the Nautilus holds its value well against comparable pens made by other brands. Instead of the porthole-style ink windows you would see on the Nautilus, the Voyage is the exact same model, but it has an ink window that goes straight across the barrel in a ring, I guess you could say. The Voyage Summer edition is made out of Mackenzie diamond cast acrylic. Plus, you could also find an affordable vacuum filling Nahvalur with the original Plus fountain pen at $55. Each of these models uses Nahvalur's number 6 size stainless steel nib and plastic feed. Certain Nautilus and Voyage models also offer a gold nib option. These nibs are made by Nahvalur, providing a smooth line comparable to JoWo in thickness. As a brand, Nahvalur is highly creative, always looking to push the boundaries on pen design with new, colorful styles that appeal to a broad audience of writers and artists. Unlike many of the established brands, the young owners of Nahvalur are constantly listening to feedback from end users, which informs their decisions to make a better pen for the community. One of the newest brands to appear on the Goldspot Pens website was originally founded in 2014 and is rapidly gaining attention for its exotic in-house nibs and pen materials. India's Magna Carta might not be a sleeper for very long thanks to its attention-getting 14 karat gold flex nibs. We featured the Goldspot exclusive Magna Carta Mag 650 in our previous video on the hottest pens of summer, but it definitely deserves a mention here. Magna Carta engineered this 14 karat gold flex nib to be one of the softest and most flexy nibs on the market today. We're still waiting for our next batch of these pens as the first shipment sold out quickly. The new Urban collection has a distinct writing experience not often seen outside of Japanese fountain pens. The Urban stainless steel Fude nib is capable of a wide degree of line variation depending on how you hold the nib to the page. It's expressive and works great for writing and drawing. Then there's the big bad Mag 1000. This pen has a massive nib and ebonite feed that causes all other nibs to blush. If you want a gigantic pen like the Namiki Emperor without the oversized price tag, you can find the Mag 1000 for a quarter of the price. Pen pals, the main takeaway in this video is that there are many great pen makers out there to explore. If you stick with only the big name brands or the ones that get suggested over and over on social media, you may miss out on some of the most unique aspects of fountain pens that make them a true joy to own and use. Now, of course, this list isn't exhaustive. There aren't just only 5 underappreciated sleeper brands out there. And the term sleeper is subjective anyway. But we're here to learn and get acquainted with the entirety of the pen landscape. So if you have a suggestion for underappreciated and underrated brands, give them a shout in the comments below. Congrats go to Notes from Past Amy for being picked as this week's question of the week. You've won the Leonardo Momento Zero prototype fountain pen I mentioned in the previous episode. Email me at tom@goldspot.com to claim your prize. For this week's giveaway, I'm offering up the Magna Carta Urban Azurite fountain pen with the Fude nib that I used in our YouTube shorts earlier this week. To enter, you must be subscribed to the Goldspot Pens channel, like this video, and leave a comment below with a question that you'll have for me that I'll answer in the next episode. If I answer the question of the week, you win. If you'd like to see me write with the pens mentioned in this week's episode, you could check out Goldspot Pens YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikToks for writing samples. Thank you for checking out this week's episode of the Write Stuff podcast by Goldspot Pens. Now go out there, put your pen to paper, and write stuff. Till next time, stay inky, my friends. Take care.